Hey guys, welcome. Can see a few people online. We haven't got too many people with us just yet, so we might just give it a couple more minutes.
They're all probably getting their feed ready, eh?
Well, I hope so, because, you know, it is lunchtime.
It is lunchtime.
It is lunchtime. Oh, now Joel's beaten me to letting Connor in.
Oh, you're both opening doors now, are we?
Yeah, we are. Yep.
I feel pretty lucky where I'm sitting right now. I don't know where everyone else is sitting. You're all at your desks. I'm outside at Ern Halliday.
I know.
So
beautiful space up there, Sharon.
Thought I'd rub it in a little bit. On a brown. Who we got at the moment? Where are we coming from?
So, guys, do you want to introduce yourselves as you come online? Misha, want to turn your camera on and say hi?
They're all wearing their pajamas.
I hope so. That'd be nice.
Sorry. Hello.
Hello.
I just had to unmute myself and here we go.
Turn your camera on. Nice.
There you go. How are we?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, I'm really good. How are you? Where are you from, Misha?
Durable area.
Okay, so Misha's just down the road from us.
Yeah, I actually saw one of your guys' colleagues jump on the bus this morning.
Oh.
From where I get the bus, so it must go like the other way, and then yeah.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Shazza. Hi there. CAMS, Kimberley Aboriginal Medical Services.
Yeah, I know who we are from. Broom Mob. How's everything going up there?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad, thanks.
Is Vicky behaving?
Behaving? What?
Vicky. Yeah.
I was just going to say, and Sarah might not know, but Vicky's in our office here today.
Yeah, I thought she was in, I know she was yesterday, but yeah.
Yeah, no, she's in the office. She's actually sitting in Des's office at the moment, I think. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Katrin, are you able to have a chat?
Of course I do. Hi.
Hey.
Hello. Yeah, Cardi, Durable. I'm sitting about 20 meters away from Misha.
Oh, we've got Durbles. Okay. How's everything going there?
Sorry?
How's everything going there? All your programs?
Yeah, good. It's a little bit, got quite a bit going on at the moment. We've got AGM in the weekend, and we've got quite a lot to get done before the end of the year, but
working through it.
Yeah.
AGM's going to be fun, isn't it, guys? We're having a real lunch today, and Shaz is in the room, so we'll maybe this will be helpful. Some of the stuff we talk about today as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it might just set some stuff up. So we've also got Connor. Where's Connor? He's from
Connor's from ACCHS. So Connor, turn your camera on, say hi to everyone, and Dawn, you can do the same.
You like?
So
hello.
We've only got a small crowd today, by the looks of it, Sharon. At the moment.
Dawn. That's all right. That's
Connor, you're who I saw get on the bus this morning.
How funny is that? So Connor, you're like I told you in training the other week. You're never invisible, mate.
Yeah.
We just got told a yarn about this guy that got on the bus today. He was doing some funky dance moves before it. No, he didn't say that. But she said, I seen an aqua guy get on the bus this morning, but he went the other way.
Oh.
So you're being watched in your aqua shirt.
Yeah, I'm representing.
How scary is that? Was he doing any funny dance moves, Misha?
He was like really jiving out as he was getting on the bus. I was like, whoa, like, it's not the weekend yet. Relax.
Yeah. Let's start that. Make sure that goes in the minutes, Joel.
Yep.
Yeah, make sure. Okay, Dawn, where's Dawn from?
Hi, Aqua as well.
Aqua as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So given that it's 5 past, Sharon, we might actually make a start so you can, and I'm sure, I'm hoping we did have to change the time, obviously, because you were caught up this morning and we had some other stuff on. So that may have disrupted some of the people that might have intended to join, but we'll see how we go. So welcome everyone, our second Lunch and Learn. I hope everybody's having a good week so far. So before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the many lands, although I think Sarah probably and Joel and Terry, you guys are the outliers today because the rest of us are all on Noongar country. But I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I'd like to just let those who've just joined know that the session is actually being recorded as well. So we do put these up in our member services portal so people who haven't been able to attend can actually listen in at a later stage. So the last session we had was Sam from Biz 365 and he did an intro on AI and its applications for the workforce. Big thank you to the guys that attended our corporate services forum last week. I think everybody really enjoyed it. I know I got a lot out of it and, really valued meeting with everybody and putting faces to names for people that, I hadn't had a chance to connect with. If anybody doesn't have access to the portal, please just go to the website, click on the member services portal and register and we'll get you sorted out with that. And I guess I'm just going to move into it, Sharon. So Sharon is a proud Noongar Yamaji woman with family connections across WA with many multicultural views and connections with her Irish, Scottish, English and Italian heritage. She is a highly regarded executive cultural navigator, educator and trainer whose work champions equity, diversity and systems change across the sectors. So welcome, Sharon. Brief intro today. Your website has so much information on the amazing work that you do and the variety of work. It's very hard to pick out a really small part of that.
Say I'm a good human. I think, hopefully you think I'm a good human and by the time we leave today, you think I'm an even better human. That's really all I'm going for, to be honest, but thank you.
Absolutely.
Kai, when I am acknowledging I'm standing down here in Hillary's at the moment. We're in Halliday. This is where we deliver all our training down here around perception is our truth. And I'm just saying this, we're doing a session this morning with 50 odd people around the perception is our truth journey. And I suppose that's what I'm going to speak to you a little bit about today is around the journey that we're with at the moment with ACCHS. The amazing opportunity that I find myself being part of at the moment is bringing our staff on a journey around reconciliation, around learnings, around healing, understanding the roles we play in our organisations and how important it is for our mob and for all mobs to heal. So we talk about healing, belonging, hurt people. That's a big one. And that's a big topic straight up for lunch is talking about how do we offer supports in services where we're there for wellbeing to look after people when there's so much destruction and so many things that have happened amongst our communities in the past. And I think one of the big things that have come up for me in this space, again, big topics is the lateral violence and around that, how it affects people, big decision makings and things like that. So we're not going to delve right into those things, but for me, understanding that during the conference times and being part of ACCHS and emceeing a lot of events and being part of health and resources across the state, one of the biggest needs I'm finding especially from our young people, to be really honest, because they're really open about what they're not liking anymore and what they want to see, is an opportunity to show up to work and do my job and not be burnt out around bias or about privilege and all those different things that can happen in workplaces. And we're never going to have an answer for that in a lunch break, guys, just quietly. But it's just considering and understanding that we are all part of the narrative. When we go out there and represent our organisations to help our people, we represent our families, we represent everyone. But if we play a part in negatively letting people in or use services, we become part of the issue or part of the systems that have stopped our people and stopping our people from living longer lives and healthier lives. So for me, I always go back to what does good look like in a service model for your organisation? What kind of supports have we got within our organisations to do cultural supervision or to do debriefs weekly, to have those chats about things that's going on in our office? How are we looking after ourselves when we're holding such real heavy spaces? And at times maybe we're cruising through, I'm not sure, but I know from most of the people that come through our training courses, there's so much happening outside of work, and that's not just for Aboriginal people, that's for everyone. But everything that happens in our lives gets brought into work. It's without doubt, just like everything that happens at work, it ends up going home in one way or another. We're not perfect yet at cleaning our feet all the way. COVID probably taught us we need to clean up a little bit more after ourselves before we go from space to space. And I feel like the way we can do that is through a series of healing, through workshops, through self-reflection, through leadership programs, and what that looks like for us. And for those of you who don't know me and probably don't even know me in this context, and most of the guys from ACCHS have actually already been down and done Perception is Our Truth. We're on a journey with the organisations. So they have embedded the cultural standards framework for best practice within their organisation. Most of their staff are not Aboriginal people either. So bringing them in and teaching them about culture, what it means, what is culture, rather than what is trauma. That's been a massive thing, and realising how much people didn't know and understand about that, but in a real respectful way, because even our own mob weren't necessarily aware of how much trauma we were taking into the room and how much stuff that we're carrying every single day. And I'm speaking really openly from that, because if you do know me and my journey, grew up in the KGB or Kadula Garawan Belga, involved in lots of things that weren't probably great in many ways, drugs and alcohol and domestic violence and all those kind of gangs and all that kind of stuff. But coming to my 20s, losing a lot of people to suicide and to grief and loss and all those heavy things that were part of my life, and wanting to become a counsellor because I wanted to help my family. That's what I really wanted to set up. So that's kind of a bit of a backstory for why we understand the importance of it. I just know in my 20s, I spent my 20s probably just being angry with everyone and trying to change everyone, but didn't have the right words for it. Got lots of great opportunities because I worked really hard and tried my guts out, but it was burning me out, and that was not best practice. But I just didn't know anything better, because my whole life I had been fight and flight. That's all I knew. I knew survival. So I think, and one of the things we spoke about today with the elders that are showing up in the room today was, even when they come through the program, just going, I didn't realise how much anger I was carrying. I didn't realise that was, I'm not even necessarily going to hear people because I'm hurt. So it's that thing going back to hurt people, healed people, heal people. And healed people can hear people. So just look, it's a heavy topic for lunch, but not really. I think we all just probably need to catch our breath sometimes and go, oh, that's why I'm outside, mate. Just like wash it all away. But it's not that easy, and it's done as a collective. And I think in our workplaces now, and this is what we really, I'm hoping from these kind of chats and the lunch and learn sessions, people can just come in and talk about what's going on. We can talk about some great things that are happening within organisations, because we are health and wellbeing. We lose too many people, and so many people come into the spaces to do the work because they want to change that narrative. But what happens, they come in and they carry that narrative. They carry more stuff because it's not happening for me at work. I'm frustrated, more baggage. So finding a way, and this is why Perception is Our Truth, the training, it's around the truth telling, it's around education, it's around leadership. It's an amazing, I'm actually so proud of it. We've been delivering it for a long time now, for about 20 years in different formats. And in the last 5 years, it went through WA Police, through Justice, through Corrections. We're now using it to teach principles, a cultural standards framework. But really, I'll be really honest, the best work that come from this was me working in my community back in the day and doing through our Gender Falcons football and leadership program. This was the mentoring program we ran for our kids. This is how we brought our elders in, and this is why we were able to shift the narrative and get people off living their best life and back in school and back in university. We were just doing healing. We were basically just bringing people together to talk through the things that had happened, to give them some tools and to let them discuss it and work amongst it, to work alongside Indigenous people and non-Indigenous people, to come in, offer a safe space to understand we're all just bringing stuff to the table and what does good look like and feel like. So through those really open, transparent, sometimes pretty full-on conversations where people unpack some stuff, there were lots of tears at times. But then as I think back about it, I think the first couple of years were the hardest because we didn't really know what the boundaries were going to be. Whereas now I just know if we get people in the room, we offer a safe space. And when it's in a professional space, it's a bit different anyway. But when you're doing it straight out with community people from anywhere and everywhere that have come to play football, it's very loose and it's very open to people's lots of trauma. So watching that and seeing now, I've got some of the young fellas, and Aqua met one of the young boys from our programs the other day. He's up here now in Halliday. He's one of the most awarded rangers in our programs. He's doing fantastic. He's been here straight from high school, doing great work. So, and they come into our programs really broken and really shame about culture, shame about they'd been racially vilified, lots of things that happened to them in their life. But through the programs, the dad ended up coming coach of the football team. He got proud. His missus, who was not Aboriginal, she also joined the journey. She come and started doing stuff to learn culture for her family. So they all got to see really positive things about Aboriginal culture. And I think from that, the learning, and look, I'm hesitant to just keep talking at you. I would like to talk with you all. But the backstory, I think, is important to understand. The program and what we're doing, we were just really offering safe spaces for people to come and belong, heal, grow, and innovate, and to play sport or to get healthy options. Where it was about getting blood tests and we done the sugar diabetes test for a while. So we were offering, and we weren't funded to do that, by the way. I was just phoning all my mates up to come and do it. So we were just bringing people along, which I still do to this day. You just phone your mates, are the best ones that show up. But just sharing the journey. And now with the programs that you run in your different organisations, that's what we've got in our communities now. They are actually highly functioning, wellbeing spaces that go out. You go out and you offer all these different kind of services and education. But one thing I really learned is if we don't look after the people that are going and delivering those education programs, we're in big trouble. All we're doing is sending out more grief or more worry. If people don't love where they work, or if they're negative about the place or the environment, that's also going to create more distrust. And it's not saying people have to lie about where they are, but if they're not enjoying it and they go and share that with people, we don't want people to not love where they're working, because if they don't love it, they can't offer it. You can't offer a safe space for people to come and get health and education if you're not feeling safe and educated in your role. So does that make sense? It's just really, and I feel like, look, Cam's, Vicky's on the board for ACCHS and stuff as well, and being part of this narrative. I've been sharing it for a long time. If you've been in any of the conferences where we've been emceeing, it's always been around wellbeing, it's around offering safe spaces, what we can do. But now this new layer of opportunity for every organisation across our state. I would love for you all to come and do it. We're working with CASWA now as well. And just for people to come and do the healing, to come and sit and learn about it, to do the self-reflection, to do those leadership opportunities. I'm really excited about what's coming with ACCHS in the future, and I think Vega's doing some stuff. Lots of people have got great ideas. It's not a competition. It's just going, these are things that I know that are coming, and opportunities for people to come and learn about leadership. What does cultural leadership look like? What does a good cultural lens look like? What's cultural safety? But also for everyone to understand that if you can't articulate it, people don't know. They're going to make an assumption about what that looks like. So coming into these kind of rooms has actually helped a lot of people get a new voice for stepping out of the room, and a new toolbox for going forward. And it's really about saying to everyone, come and sit and have lunch and learn. Let's have a yarn about what's going on for you. What real support or what check-in do you need to do through this time? As much as this is a lunch and learn, let's have an education session. For me, the best way to do this culturally is to have a yarn about the things that might be coming up for you, or might be a thing, and going, well, what's some really good advice? Again, it's not your legal advice, it's just how we look after our people. But I also understand HR and processes second to none. It's actually probably my skill set really is writing policy and process and working with governments and systems and changing them, which is basically getting everything that's been put in front of me and flipping up in the air and going, that doesn't work, this is what we need. So it's about systems change. It's about being positive, working with a new energy, bringing that to the table, talking around perception. The training we do as perception is our truth, and the education and cultural immersion around that for lots of fellas that don't necessarily have culture. Again, I'm not the cultural guru. I've been through all my women's business and done everything I've been asked to do culturally from my family. But I'm also, like I said before, Irish, Scottish, English, and Italian. So I'm just a right little mongrel. So I don't know if you're allowed to call me mongrels, but I can. But thinking about all that, I bring so much diversity to the table on that, just like we all do. So everyone's valued, and what can that mean for us? So through a series of cultural supervision sessions, which is weekly check-ins for people, or monthly or fortnightly, whatever you need, to be able to reach outside of your organisation to have a chat or a yarn about what's going on for people. ACCHS set that up with their organisation, and everyone's using it. It's an amazing opportunity. We go and have a coffee or have an hour outside of the building, or a cold drink. Sometimes we meet at Hillary's or different places. This is one place where I like to meet, actually, over the road at the beach. but it's giving people an opportunity to talk about stuff that's happening at work, or getting some guidance, or if it's help with writing letters, or to do it the right way or the wrong way, or just really being, for me, cultural supervision is about holding a mirror up and going, well, how can that look if you do X, Y, Z? And what is the best thing? Because sometimes our colleagues or our friends or our people that love us or care for us, they may be giving us the wrong advice on how to manage things, and that can make it worse. And sometimes it's just really good not to be putting all that stuff back on family and back on friends as much as, or else around the drink table, you know, standing around in the kitchen having a yarn can be seen as gossip now, because that's what's on the video about lateral violence, people just having a yarn. But again, it's perception about how people can take it. If it's a good yarn, no one's going to worry. If it's about someone's man running around the car park, that's another yarn altogether. We'll talk about that one later. But it's just, and that's STD education there, isn't it? But yeah, it's just thinking, what is it that you guys are seeing within your organisations? What's some kind of things that I'm really interested as well. And I think from ACCHS perspective, as for all the member services, to see what you're doing to look after yourselves and how you're finding that working for you. Every single organisation, no matter where you are, even if it's not Aboriginal business, has got stuff going on. Everyone's got a political agenda. I feel like sometimes when it's Aboriginal business, people will go, let the Aboriginal people deal with it. That's not best practice, by the way. I don't feel like, because that can become very dangerous and volatile for people that are not safe. But it's just about going, well, what is the practice at work, and what is cultural safety for us being in our workplace? How do we ask for it? Who's the right people to go to? You know, if stuff's going on, I'm worried about this. I don't really know how this is going to pan out. Who do I go to? I don't want to flag it with Fair Work. I don't want to put a label on my head. That's why things like cultural supervision is confidential. I don't report back to anyone. Anyone that does cultural supervision does not report back. It's not that kind of thing. It's not we're not bound by those rules. We're bound by the rule of cultural authority, which is being respectful and mindful, doing the right thing. Everything that I learn goes in a vault. It actually, you'll probably see it come out in training in different ways. No, you don't. But in all seriousness, you will see certain things. We don't speak about anyone's stuff that's going on, but all the things that we've done in training, and nothing that I've heard today has anything that I hadn't heard 10 years before I come in here. So it hasn't really changed. It's just different people, different names, different organisations. It's the same old stuff. It's the same old hurt people, hurting people, burnt out people, burning other people out. Because once we're burnt out, what does that mean for us? Do we understand what the traits of that are? Do we understand when we need to go and get some support for it? And do we feel safe doing it? And I think that's one of the things I done with the coppers going in there, and especially Aboriginal police, mate. No one wanted to ask. Police don't want to ask for help. We might go, oh, they're half the problem. But if they're not looking after themselves, they're not going to be able to look after us very well. And having so many Aboriginal people working in police and not wanting to use the EAP services and stuff like that, it was, the cultural supervision for them worked gold. It was great. They could have a yarn, they could leave it at the table, and off they went. And look, and sometimes it was about people going, you know what, I probably need to leave. This is not going to work for me. It's about understanding what a little bit of, what's that word when we get in relationships that's not really healthy for us? A bit of coercive control, maybe. And when workplaces feel like it's a little bit coercive control, which it can be, because someone's higher than us and they're telling us to do something, and they're basically, we can be gaslit every day of the week. People can be coming and putting us on fire every day without even realizing that's what's happening. So again, it's just, I do all the hot topics, really. It's just thinking about all the things that go around us, really aware of them. Do we understand sometimes people are hurting people, not meaning to do it? Sometimes people just don't care, I don't know. Or sometimes people don't know where to go for help. So it's also saying, do we understand the programs we run and how we can use them? And are we offering them in a way that makes people feel safe to use them? So I think that's a pretty good wrap up of what we're doing with ACCHS. What do you reckon, Trina? Have I pegged it, you reckon?
Yeah, I think you have. And I was going to say, just for those that obviously are not ACCHS staff, because some of us are on the line here, I think for me, the cultural supervision has, as a non-Indigenous person, has really been the opportunity for me to ask some of those questions where I go, I'm not really sure if that's appropriate or not, but also the opportunity to self-reflect. I think doing the perceptions, doing the workshop really has brought to my attention about how I need to self-reflect as a leader, you know, what am I giving my team when we're actually conversing? How am I interacting with them? So I think it really does not just talk about culture, but what culture I bring and how that needs to meld with everybody else's, because we are also very different. We all come from different spaces, whether we're Aboriginal, non-Aboriginal, whatever. We've all bring with us, you know, our own culture. And I think Uncle Nick said that as well at the forum. You know, we all have our culture. It's very strong within us, whether we realise that or not. So
and
for me,
we all bring stuff, don't we? Everyone brings it, and look, we always, it's really good. I'm glad you're open about that. But the conversations we had, even in the room, just around team bonding and having, look, it's a great reset for ACCHS. Look, like everyone, and transparency. Everyone knows stuff happens in every organisation. If every organisation, after something happened, if we spoke about it, if we went through it, don't have to unpack everyone's business, but we have to acknowledge stuff. Give people a platform to speak to it. How has it affected you? Are you okay with that? Let's go forward. Because if we don't do that, when someone just leaves a job or something happens, which I find happens a lot in Aboriginal organisations, people just feel like they have to slide out the back door. But then they pop up somewhere else and they don't feel like they've got a right to speak. And that's not true. We do have a right to speak. We do have a right to an exit conversation. We do have a right to a process that's transparent and fair. And again, I'm pretty good at HR. It's not about getting anyone or anything. It's just going, look, let's consider how we can do that differently. And even down to things like if someone's in an FDV relationship or they're moving house, there's a whole policy around that. What does it look like within our organisation? How is it written up? But then how does that roll out when someone comes and knocks on the door and says, this is what's going on for me? Because the last thing we want is when someone works for, especially Aboriginal health so much is about well-being. It's environmental health, so it's homelessness, it's FDV, it's all those deficit discharges, it's all the trauma, right? It's all the trauma that we've got. They need to be able to get support for that. And sometimes at work, it might not be the right place to go. So to know there's another place just down the road, because when it's all okay, people know your business. So I understand that as well. Sometimes it's really good to step outside and get some support. And again, that's why cultural supervision is really healthy for people to have those opportunities, or EAP. Our leaders around that state, you should see the training they get for themselves. You should see what they do. We need that in health. We need it for our people. We need to be understanding people's personalities and their well-being, and understanding ourselves, what we bring to the table. Because they do all that stuff and they get really good at it and sit up top. But deep down, we're the ones dealing with the inside-outside stuff and all the complex needs. We need to understand people's personalities, hurt people on fire, go from place to place, catching everyone else on fire. When what they really need, when someone's on fire and they're coming towards us, we need to give them a hug if we possibly can, or get down low and roll them out like we do in fire. You know, that practice, I always think, you know, sometimes people just need to sit them down or to go for a walk or to stop. When we ignite and we add air to that fire, they just go out and they lose it. That's not helpful. But again, it's you learn this. Like I said, I grew up with lots of violence and lots of negative. I couldn't imagine wanting to ever hurt anyone these days, which is really ironic, because as kids, we were told to get out of the cars and go and fight people, you know, gangs and like just horrific stuff. So, you know, you can actually unlearn those behaviors really well. You can actually heal from lots of different things as well. It's not easy. It's ongoing. It's an ongoing journey. But every time I get back, and I probably love this work right now, because every time I'm back in these rooms, I feel like I'm with my people. I feel like I get it. I feel like we all connect on a different thing. And I see really great people doing things that with all the right intentions that are triggering other people, and really broken people that are showing to me really big signs of being broken or needing support, but not knowing how to ask for it, because in the past, when we ask for something, people think we're weak and we can't do it. When really we know from mental health and wellbeing, it is about looking after ourselves. What we've done, we've just been having these amazing chats and just putting in place things. So now anyone can come in and look at it. And it was already there before, but now it's been unpacked, it's been pulled apart. So what does good look like in this instance? What are we going to hand people? What's the documentation? What's the way we're going to send that email? Or are we going to communicate first? Are we going to do this? And we know what's written in HR. But when we went back and went, well, culturally safe, what can this look like? Just being able to speak through stuff. And sometimes, to be honest, I think I've just been a bystander sitting in the room, but that cultural safety of people being able to do it, I can tell that gives people a breath as well. Because we're often under the pump to do things and we just don't know the right way to do it. So it's just being able to go, you know what, that's culturally safe to do it like that, or that's this, or whatever, or you know what, maybe they need to understand this. Have you thought maybe they didn't get this part of it, and what can we do about that? So, and again, Trina, I'm going to ask you about that because you know, we've had a lot of those chats.
Yeah, I find for me, the perceptions of our truth training and the cultural safety, like the cultural supervision, has really just reminded me that I'm communicating with people. It's not about the job. It's not necessarily about the task anymore. It's about how do I make sure the people that I'm interacting with really understand where I'm coming from, and I'm doing that in a way that I feel like they understand what I'm doing. So not just me, you know, kind of saying X, Y, Z is what I need, but in a way that I know the team are actually listening, or I'm getting my message across that in a way that respects everybody's sort of place and being, so that it's not, you know, I'm not didactic anymore, I suppose. Still learning, still reflecting, still working through, but yeah, just trying to make sure I'm more people focused than task focused, I suppose.
There's a big learning.
It is.
And I suppose, and Joel, have you learned anything yet, mate? You've got to say yes by now. Surely it's been 2 weeks. Surely something's resonated.
Yeah, no, I think that the training we did, it was very thought-invoking, you know, and explored a lot of, I guess, avenues of practices that we just do and not particularly think about, because it's been that way for a long time. So I'm always constantly, you know, every interaction, every opportunity is a learning. So the perception of the truth session that we had was a learning. The event last week was a training. These sessions are a learning. So always trying to.
We're on the journey. Today was just probably talking about the perception is our truth. I really want to get that out there, talking about knowing that there's so much support out there for everyone. You just got to know where to look. It's not necessarily coming to me, but there's so much great support out there for leadership, for having these yarns. And sometimes we get lost a little bit in what's going on around us. Don't feel lost, because hopelessness leads to other things, right? Don't ever feel lost, and don't ever feel like not enough is enough, because it's not. We can always do better. So reach out, get some good leaders around you, and just have those conversations, because I can see right now in health, we're doing so much great work, but we're also bringing in a lot of people and a lot of opportunity that haven't necessarily done healing, that need to do healing, and people coming in with all kinds of intentions. And the more we have conversations, those softer conversations, and come together, the easier it's going to get. It does get easier. And I can honestly tell you, I walk into the office now and it feels different. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I can feel the way that, you know, just because something's always been a certain way doesn't mean it's been the best. I'm still waiting to get Noongar radio in the office, so every day
I hear you.
But yeah, just reach out, have a chat, and go and look at the ACCHS website. They've been doing some great sharing of what's going on. Again, I feel like they're doing some great stuff. I know Cam's viewers already do some stuff up there as well, but ask Vicky about it, and just keep the conversations going, guys, and reach out whenever you want privately. I won't talk about specific people. If you're from another organisation, I'm not going to do names with you unless you're going to do a private debrief. But if I can definitely support you through processes if you want to know what your options are. So respectfully.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
And I just want to thank you, Sharon. That's really, I mean, look, it's always valuable. I always find I learn more out of our chats and they make me think, which is always a good thing.
You just love hanging out with me, tell the truth.
I do. But I also wanted to back that in with particularly for the guys who are not ACCHS staff on the line. That's the whole intent of the Corporate Services Forum and Network as well, is to be those connections, to be available. You know, if you've got some concerns, you don't want to talk to somebody in-house, you can always reach out to one of us here at ACCHS to have a yarn and just, you know, sort of, we probably can't give you exact advice, but we can give you some supports. And, you know, even if it is just catching up for a coffee, that's the whole point of ACCHS being, is to be here as well to support our member services. So whatever way we can do that, we're available to do that. So I'm very happy for people to drop me a line or, you know, drop into the office. Some days it's a bit hectic, but, you know, it's like just yell out and we can definitely catch up and you know, have a conversation in the same, not in the educated way that Sharon does it, but in the let's just have a coffee or.
But it's still good. It's building that
Yep.
network. And look, I'm not always there. So for me, it's always about helping people find a way to fit in with what's around them as
Yep.
well. Because look, I'm not in the rooms. Yous are all working in the same space. So yous are best place to give that kind of support.
Yeah.
I'm just here as an extra add-in, if you like. Bit of value, bit of case.
We appreciate that. Okay,
So-
guys, we have gone a minute over schedule, so I know everybody is busy. Sharon, thank you again. Really
you.
appreciate your time.
What a wine.
Hugs to all the elders that are up there on site with you under that
think
beautiful
they've all
peppermint
left.
tree.
Yeah, there's my peppy tree. I think they've all left. They're all waving at the window before. So, but thank you, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank
Look
you
after
so
yourself.
much.